Welcome to beautiful Seattle, Washington in the great Northwest. It's the sixth stop on the EnviroFly ABRA Championship Series, this being the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair. Hello everybody, I'm Jim Hendrick, and the fastest race boats in the world continue their quest for high point supremacy. And the leader is Oh Boy Oberto. Down in that camp, let's go down to Steve Montgomery.
It's true, Jim. Steve David and the Oh Boy Oberto having a remarkable season, especially considering this is a 16-year-old race boat. Of course, hydroplanes go through a major rebuild every off-season, so the original build date is not all that important. But it is unusual for a boat of this vintage to go from also-ran to front-runner. That's exactly what Steve David and the Oh Boy Oberto have done in 2006. A real credit to the driver and his team.
Speaking of a driver and team getting credit, Dave Villwock is the top qualifier for this race, but was 1 week ago on the Columbia River. Look at that boat get airborne, does a flip and almost a flip and a half, and the crew put it back together. They went on to win that event, which is amazing.
The second flip and win in the history of the sport. Our buddy Mark Evans did it right here in Seattle a few years back. Here is the qualifying ladder. These boats will be racing in 3 preliminary heats, trying to win their way to the winner-take-all final and the big trophy.
Heat 1A is now coming up, and let's take a look at the starting lineup for the first action of the day. Heat 1A will see the U3 Acura of Seattle, followed by the FormulaBoats.com Car Pros Acura of Bellevue, and there is the rest of the list. 6 boats in all to make it, coming from the floating bridge down to the start. Steve Montgomery, call them as they fan out.
The start in unlimited hydroplane racing, much like the America's Cup, just about 180 miles per hour faster. You see the clock ticking down. The idea is to have the nose of your boat right at the start line when the clock hits 0 and hopefully be at full song. Here the field is spread out just a little bit. The red boat on the inside, that's Mike Allen in the FormulaBoats.com. He might be a little early. Greg Hopp is next to him in the blue boat. That was Jean Viaret in the yellow Beacon Plumbing, who, if he was legal, made a heck of a start. Now he's going to have to leave room for the 3 boats to his left. This is going to get tight in the first turn. It's Viaret with the lead. Oh, it's tight to his left, though. There are 4 boats trying to run in about 2 lanes. They all made it through the turn okay, Jim, and now they start up the backstretch. Our leader is Jean Viaret, the defending champion. The French-Canadian, the U-37 Beacon Plumbing, is the leader with half a lap on the books here at Seafair.
3 laps in preliminary action, and you can see at the top of the screen, the yellow boat is Jean Viaret from Montreal with a slight lead over the FormulaBoats.com as they come down to complete lap number 1.
And just that quickly, these boats have run 2 miles now. Mike Allen in great shape on the inside in the red boat, FormulaBoats.com. That is a former Miss Budweiser, still looks very much the same. And you can see now he's going to try to take advantage of the fact that he's on the inside. But Viaret has great boat speed. Now we're looking at the 3rd and 4th place boats. That's Jimmy King with piston power on the inside, being chased by Greg Hopp. Here's our leader now. He's maintaining that lead, even though the boat to his left is running a shorter race course. Jean Viaret has done well. He won this race here last year, and of course he would like to repeat for a hometown sponsor, hometown owners, Bill and James Shoemaker. Billy, of course, a former Gold Cup champion himself. And here comes Viaret now. He'll finish lap 2, running in lane 2, Jim, and he's going to be our leader with 2/3 of Heat 1A now in the books.
He has not moved over, but the FormulaBoat.com has moved out now into the second lane. It is second place, and Jimmy King in the piston-powered Packer is 3rd.
Look at the ride that Viaret is getting. The boat ride much rougher when you look at it head-on than it appears from the side. At nearly 200 miles per hour, the driver appears to be getting a pretty good boat ride. But when we take a close look, it's like he's in a blender in there. And Viaret now has his foot to the floor. He is leaving Mike Allen at FormulaBoats.com, opening up some water on him, and it looks now like Viaret is going to cruise to a 400-point victory here in Heat 1A. And remember, these preliminaries are all about earning points, making your way to the final, and that's where they give away the big trophy.
The water is rough, Steve, and he's not going as fast as they usually go. He's averaging about 140 mile an hour en route to this first 1A victory.
140 mile an hour average means that you're well over 190 though in the straightaways on this rough water, and that is saying something. That is your second place boat, Mike Allen, the FormulaBoats.com, the former Budweiser, giving chase but not catching Jean Theoret in the bright yellow U-37 Miss Beacon Plumbing. And this is the way they finish as they cross start-finish. If you're scoring, Jim, it's 400 very important points. A great start for the French-Canadian.
400 for first, 300 for second, 225 for third. The Beacon Plumbing wins Heat 1A here on Lake Washington in Seattle. There'll be 6 boats in Heat 1B. Steve David, the high point driver, leader so far here on the ABRA circuit, heads for his boat. We'll have all kinds of action. Don't go away.
The American Boat Racing Association's EnviroPly Championship Series for unlimited hydroplanes is brought to you by EnviroPly multi-panel interior and exterior building supplies, naturally superior, and by Oh Boy Oberto Beef Jerky. Taste what's real. It better be Oberto.
Welcome back to Lake Washington in beautiful Seattle for the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair. I'm Jim Hendrick along with Steve Montgomery. Lots of spectator boats, lots of people on the shore. It's going to be a great Heat 1B with 6 boats competing, and one of them of which is the Oh Boy Oberto, driven by Steve David, who gives us the EnviroPly Insider.
Here we find ourselves in Seattle, Washington, one of the oldest races in the circuit. Probably the greatest pressure for all the teams. For us, it's the biggest. This is the home of the Oberto Sausage Company, our sponsor. Lake Washington is the roughest 2-mile race course we run on. Extra pressure because you're your sponsor, the fans are huge, live TV all day long, and the very best boats in the circuit. Temperatures are really great this weekend, so speeds are going to be way up. Water's going to be awfully rough because there'll be thousands of boats out in that log boom.
Now let's check the lineup for Heat 1B here on Lake Washington today. The Elan Plus U1, Graham Trucking U2, FormulaBoats.com U5, Oh Boy Oberto, Fairweather Masonry, and Lake Ridge Paving. As they come down to mill and make the start from the top of the course, here's Steve Montgomery.
6 boats in the historic North Turn here on Lake Washington. Forming up on the outside, that's Terry Troxel driving the Lake Ridge Paving, the green and gold boat, easy to spot. The key, of course, is to be over on the inside, and guess who has lane 1? That man, Dave Villwock, in the bright orange Miss Elan Plus. Right next to him, there is yellow. That is J.W. Myers in the U10. Racing here as the Fairweather Masonry. Steve David is going to make a great start in the Oh Boy Oberto in the middle of the field, and he's going to lead them into turn 1 in lane 3. He'll leave room for the boats off to his left. Oh, he doesn't leave much there. Look at that great overhead shot. Our leader is still Steve David in the Oh Boy Oberto as they start up the backstretch. Now watch the orange boat on the inside. Villwock with tremendous boat speed will try to reel him in, but right now it's J.W. Myers and Steve David, and they are deck to deck after a half a lap here in Heat 1B.
Our eye of the sky shows the good competition as they come around on this lap number 1 of 3. Oh Boy Oberto fighting all the way with Steve David. Look at those rooster tails rise. Look at that water churn up. Look at this racing.
And you can see now that Dave Villwock's lane has gone away. He got behind, there he is. He got back in the rooster tail. He is washed down. He will not be a factor here, and his weekend will not start well. Look at J.W. Myers. He has Kim Gregory's U10 out ahead now. Steve David running second in lane 2 as Dave Villwock is trying to restart that Elan Plus and gain some points here. They would be very, very important should he gain any at all. JW appears to have this heat under control, Jim Hendrick, but Steve David continuing to give chase in the Oh Boy Oberto.
Steve won't give up, you know that. He is a wily veteran, and he leads in driver
points. Here he comes.
Yep, here he comes. Hey, I'm still here, guys. You're not getting rid of the old man this easy.
Steve David drove the Oh Boy Oberto deeper into that turn. Oh, a close call there, as they got to watch for Dave Villwock, who's trying to get the Elan Plus started again. Now, you saw Steve David's boat hit a rough spot as he came out of that turn, and it cost him a little bit. J.W. Myers in the yellow boat now, a little bit of a lead, but Steve David is just hanging right on his hip, refusing to give in. We have a great 2-boat race here. Some action back behind them now. Villwock has the Elam running again. He's way behind the field, Jim, but it's important that he pick up some points here. He has to be in the final to be the champion here this weekend. JW
is doing a great job in that lane, making the turns, but he's got to keep that front end down. He starts to fly it a little bit in the straightaways, and that's when the old boy Alberto with Steve David comes on and pulls up beside him.
A great two-boat race here. J.W. Myers hooking it to the left in the yellow U10. Steve David leaving him a lane, and that's about all. Look at the veteran carving a great turn. He gets a little bit out of shape every time he comes through that spot right there, and J.W. is able to pick up a little bit of an advantage, which he has done right here. But the boat speed in the green and red Oh Boy Alberto has been outstanding, and you see them averaging almost 140 miles an hour in very rough water, Jim.
The checkered flag is waiting. 400 points for J.W., followed for 300 points for Steve David in the Oh Boy Alberto, and that's the way they finished 1, 2, and 3.
FormulaBoats.com, Jeff Bernard, his first drive for that team, and he picks up a nice third place.
Lots of action to continue right here at beautiful Lake Washington in Seattle, the great Northwest city where we've been racing at for so long. We're getting ready now for the second round of action, Heats 2A, as the drivers are going to their boats in the pit area, and we'll be back with all that action in just a moment. Welcome back to beautiful Seattle on Lake Washington. It's the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair. They are providing the action on the water, but also entertainment on land just outside the pits, showing off their latest Chevrolet products. Chevrolet Cup at Seafair is part of the EnviroPly AVRA Hydroplane Championship Series. Here's the starting lineup for Heat 2A.
It's a fast field for Heat 2A. Jimmy King with piston power, Mike Allen, Chris Bertram, J.W. Myers, Greg Hopp, and J. Michael Kelly. Those are the 6 boats that are on the backstretch right now. They will come around that north turn, accelerate down to start finish, hope to get there right on time.
When that 1 minute gun fires, all those guys that are in those cockpits are looking at their stopwatches. They know they cannot be 1 second early or they officially get an extra lap because they officially did not start the race. Now you see the rooster tails rise. The clock is going down to 0, 9, 8, 7. Here they come, Steve.
Greg Hopp has the inside in the U100, the Todd Haas American Dream. That's the blue boat. Mike Allen is next to him. Then J.W. Myers, and on the outside of the front row, Jimmy King with piston power. It's a great 4-boat start. Chris Bertram back just a little bit in 5th place into the turn, and look at this as they fan out just a bit. Usually you'll see the boat on the outside lose some ground in a turn like this. Jimmy King does not. This is lane 2. We're on board with Mike Allen, the FormulaBoats.com. He definitely has his nose right there with the leaders, but right now it's 4 boats in a line, and that boat, Jimmy King, on the outside with piston power, has actually taken a lead. Jim, look at this.
Oh, yeah, it's the fastest piston packer in the history of the sport. Bill Muncy, Dean Chenoweth, driving with these kind of engines never went this fast.
You were on board with Mike Allen running in lane 2. He's over there by Greg Hopp, and we still have a 4-boat race at the end of lap 1. Jimmy King, a little bit of a lead, but he is way outside. If he can maintain his boat speed, he might have a chance to stay with the very quick guys to his left. So far, doing a great job of just that. They're into the south turn one more time, and you see Greg Hopp using the advantage on the inside in the blue boat to take a little bit of a lead, but now the 2 red boats are going to pull right up beside him again. FormulaBoats.com. Mike Allen has nobody in front of him. He has Greg Hopp to his left, Jimmy King to his right, and look at these 3 boats, Jim. We usually don't see this kind of competition after almost 2 laps of racing.
The skid fins are really getting a lot of pressure on all 3 boats. You can see that secondary rooster tail come up off the left side, and now it'll start to drop as they come into the straightaway again, down toward the start-finish line.
Down to finish lap 2. Greg Hopp doing a great job of maintaining the inside. Right now our leader is Mike Allen, though, running right beside him in the red FormulaBoats.com, and the red boat right beside him with piston power is Jimmy King. Still, nobody in front of Mike Allen. You get an idea what Lake Washington looks like at nearly 200 miles per hour. This is going to be a 3-boat race for 1 more lap all the way to the finish.
Only 9 square inches of each sponson. touch the water. Only half of the propeller. The other half throws that rooster tail up in the air, 50 foot high, 200 foot back. Shows you the power. They're in the final turn to come down to take the checkered flag.
It's down now to the two red boats with a quarter of a lap to go. Mike Allen a little bit of an advantage on the inside. He has turbine power, but that piston packer to his right. Look at Jimmy King come. It's going to be Jimmy King at the finish line by a boat length. One of the closest races we've seen all season. An incredible victory for Jimmy King, driving for Ed Cooper out of Evansville, Indiana. Jim, they say the old piston boats can't run with the turbines. He just beat one of the best ever.
And Steve, it was at the fastest competitive lap of the day, just a shade under 140, 1 mile an hour for all 3 laps, a great average.
It was a great heat of racing, beginning with a great start. Look at this overhead shot as 4 boats thunder into the first turn. Way on the outside, that is Jimmy King in the red boat in lane 4. His odds of winning from there, certainly not good, but that's exactly what he did. This is the way Jimmy and the rest of the field scored in that heat. Jim Hendrick is with the winner.
Jimmy, that's one of the better heats I've seen in a long time. That was exciting.
Hey, when you got a boat like this Acura Seattle, it makes life real simple.
And you're the only piston packer in the fleet. You're showing the short way around the course.
That piston thing don't mean a darn thing anymore. The boat is ready to run.
Ed Cooper, you've got to be proud.
I'm tickled to death. You know, we've run for Acura Seattle several years now, and it's just really a delight to give them a first place in the heat.
Mike Allen picking up second place points, very important for him, the rookie, one of the contenders for the National High Point Championship. Next up, Heat 2B, Terry Troxell, the veteran, will be on the water, driving the Lake Ridge paving. Steve David and the Oh Boy Alberta will be back with us.
And looking ahead to this coming heat, 2 top drivers, Jean Thierret and Dave Villwock, will hook up in a side-by-side battle once again, so don't go away. Lots more action coming. Jim Hendrick along with Steve Montgomery. Welcome back to Seattle, where the air show is always the big thing as the Blue Angels make their annual appearance.
Several 100,000 people annually line the shore and the log boom here in Seattle. Pat Albert is the transporter for a lot of the crew and equipment for the Blue Angels. He's part of the show as well. And here are just a few seconds of the most spectacular show in the sky, which we put with the biggest show on water. Unlimited hydroplanes set for the running of Heat 2B.
And what competition we're going to have in Heat 2B with Miss Elam Plus, the Graham Trucking, the FormulaBoats.com, Oh Boy Alberto, the Plumbing Joint, and the rest of the crew. 6 boats strong as they are now coming around to make that flying start, Steve.
Jean Thierret, you're on board with Jean. He's in lane 1. He is back a ways. You see most of the field way out in front of him. If they leave a lane for him, he may be okay. He can accelerate, get the boat up to speed, come down, make the start. The French-Canadian, a master at getting the inside, but sometimes he has to give up a lot of boat speed to do it. We'll see how this works out for him. Well, already, he's making up the stagger. The rest of the field was moving very slowly, and Thierret, as they make the run down to start-finish now, under 10 seconds, appears to have things under control. This is one of the many great starts we've seen for Jean Thierret since he came to the Unlimiteds. Oh, boy, you saw him wire that start. You see Thierret on the inside in the yellow boat. Dave Villwock out in lane 3 in that bright orange Elam Plus is the closest competitor. Steve David back a bit in the Oh Boy Alberto, and look at Steve David. He's in a tunnel now between the 2 big rooster tails of the 2 leaders. But the question is, will Dave Villwock be able to reel in Jean Thierret? He's got to leave a little bit of room for Steve David over there in lane 2. That's going to force Villwock to the outside and maybe, Jim, make it a little easier for Thierret to stay ahead of him.
3 laps around in this preliminary heat, and I'll tell you one thing, Jean Thierret is driving very well, and the water conditions have improved. Our speed should be up a little bit over the first time they took the water.
Look at that boat ride. It looks very smooth when you're on the shore and these boats come by you at speeds over 185 miles per hour. But as you see from this shot, the driver is really getting beat up in there. Thierret now has moved out into about lane 2. Steve David actually running to his left. Oh, a big hop for the U-37. Now Villwock is off to his right in the Elam Plus and trying to catch Thierret, who absolutely loves this rough race course. And look at Steve David in the Oh Boy Alberto. He's using his spot on the inside, and Dave Villwock to stay very close to the defending national high point champion. We're going to have a great race now for second place. Whoops, Steve David's going to get into some rough water in the Alberto. That's going to slow him down, maybe take him out of this. Dave Villwock running away on the outside, has better water, but he has a long ways to go. And now Steve David makes a great turn in lane 1 and brings the Alberto right up beside Miss Elam Plus again. Neither of them appear to be catching Jean Theoret and the Beacon Plumbing, but we have a great race, Jim, for second place.
As the old boy Alberto tries to come up under the inside of Dave Villwock and the Elam Plus. And here's your leader coming around now with a less than a lap to go to take 400 more points.
On board with Jean Theoret driving for Billy Shoemaker, the U-37, Miss Beacon Plumbing. This boat and driver love rough water, but Jim, they've actually picked up about 4 miles per hour from last time out, so perhaps Jean is finding the conditions just a little bit better. A great start by Jean Theoret, as they usually are. He parlays it into a 3-lap victory now as he comes down the front chute for the final time. He'll take the checkered flag, pick up 400 points as he flies the boat just a little bit right at the finish line. A great run for Jean Theoret and the U-37 Miss Beacon Plumbing, winner of Heat 2B. Dave Villwock moves out a little bit of space now in second place. He'll pick up 300 points. Steve David and the old boy Alberto finishing third. Oh, we have a problem on the race course. Kevin Aylesworth, his U-21, the plumbing joint, is on fire in the north turn. Look at the dark black smoke coming out of the cowling, the flames billowing out of there, some kind of a fuel or oil leak, apparently igniting a fire in the engine well. This is one of the biggest fires we've seen for a long time. Kevin appears to be okay. This is the way the points are scored in Heat 2B. 400 more for Jean Theoret, an important 300 for Dave Villwock, who had some problems his first time up. Down on the dock with the French-Canadian Jean Theoret. Let's go to Jim Hendrick.
John, the owner said that the boat was made to fly the way you came across the finish line. Is that true?
Well, the boats were going really good. We're really pleased with the Beacon Plumbing boat. This water here gets really rough, but I think we've got the best boat right out there right now.
A great run for Jean Theoret and the U-37 Beacon Plumbing. Disaster for young Kevin Aylesworth and the U-21, the plumbing joint. A lot of damage to that boat. One of the most devastating fires that we have seen for a long time in boat racing. Thankfully, Kevin appeared to be okay.
We'll have Heat 3A after they clear the course. More action to come. Welcome back to Lake Washington. A beautiful shot of Mount Rainier in the background in beautiful Seattle for the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair.
One of the greatest parties on the water you'll ever find anywhere. A huge crowd. They have estimated over 100,000 spectators, Jim, on the water, on the log boom here at Seafair. And as you can see, it is one big party.
No party for Kevin Aylesworth and the Plumbing Joint Inc. The U-21 after that fire. It's being towed back now to the pit. Let's check the competition for Heat 3A. And here they are, 6 combatants led by Graham Trucking, Old Boy Alberto, and Fairweather Masonry.
Last chance to score points here in Heat 3. We'll run this heat, then 3B, and then we'll know who the 6 boats are in the final. Scoring up now, Greg Hopp moving slowly through the north turn in that blue boat. Swinging wide, that's J. Michael Kelly in the U-13, the Detroit-based Acura of Bellevue. Steve David and the old boy Alberto, looks like he's in about lane 5. That's Ken Muscatel in the orange and white boat. He's in lane 3. J.W. Myers making a good run down to the start line in the yellow boat in lane 2. Here's the start. J. Michael Kelly led him across, but it looked like he was too early. The clock wasn't down to 0. The boat trailing the field way back there in 6th place is Jean Theoret, and here comes Muscatel through some rooster tails. He's going to get a gulp of water. His boat will probably shut down. So Theoret and Muscatel appear to be out of it at this point, and that's a big story for one of our favorites, Theoret, to be having problems in this heat, as well as this man, Ken Muscatel. Now, our leader on the backstretch is J.W. Myers. Steve David right beside him, Jim, and the old boy Alberto. Once again, these two have hooked it up.
Todd Haas presents Fairweather Masonry with J.W. Myers leading right now by about 3 boat lengths, but here comes as we look down from our Oberto beef jerky eye in the sky, the old boy Oberto with Steve David.
We've had some great starts here this weekend. This one was kind of a mess. I don't know what was going on with Jean Theoret, normally one of the best starters in the field, and he was behind everybody as they came down to start finish. He's not a factor here. This man may be one of the favorites now, Jim. JW just having a great weekend driving for Kim Gregory in that U10.
But the U37, Jean Theoret, technically has already made the final. Looking at some of the computations, he doesn't have to even complete this heat. He will be in the final.
Well, that's true, but it's not like him to not want to be out front. It'll be interesting to find out just what was going on there. Meanwhile, the north end of the race course, it's over a rooster tail now for J.W. Myers. You notice the red front wing. He lost a wing last time out, and if that looks like an old Budweiser wing, well, that's exactly what it is. This boat also one of the former Miss Budweisers, purchased by Kim Gregory out of Las Vegas, Nevada during the off season. On his final lap now, J.W. Myers, and he has over 2 rooster tails on the second place boat, Steve David and the old boy Oberto.
And he's taking that cruise on a smooth day. Nobody in front of him, nobody on the side of him. He's just taking a ride to come back and take that checkered flag.
That's Ken Muscatel up and running again in the orange and white Graham Trucking. He had some problems at the start. His boat unhooked in the first turn. He went through a couple of rooster tails, but he does have it up and running again. So it's a yellow U10 for J.W. Myers with a little bit of Budweiser red between the sponsons. He has a quarter of a lap to go. He'll pick up 400 points, and he will be one of the boats in the final. We know that, Jim. Steve David running in second place. 300 is going to be enough to put him in the final. So some of our final field is already set. We know, as you said, that Jean Theoret and the Beacon Plumbing, based on previous heats, will be in the final. He certainly didn't have a good one here.
Your second place boat, oh boy, Oberto with Steve David, shows some wear and tear. That water is really rough. Some of the sports have given away, and he might lose those horizontal and the vertical stabilizers.
Looking at the points awarded in Heat 3A, 3 of these boats we are pretty sure have made the final. The Todd Haas Fairweather Masonry, the oh boy Oberto, and of course Jean Theoret's U37 Beacon Plumbing. Here's our winner one more time. J.W. Myers driving for the USA Racing Partners out of Las Vegas. Another victory for that team. And speaking of teams, is this still the team to beat this weekend, Jim? They usually are. It's Dave Villwock and Miss Elam Plus. He's up next.
On Heat 3B, our final elimination heat. We'll be back in just a moment.
Back on the sun-drenched shores of Lake Washington, very near downtown Seattle, Washington. It's the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair. We are set for the running of Heat 3B while the crowd enjoys music, food, sunshine, and everything that is Seafair here in Seattle. It is a community-wide celebration lasting a couple of weeks this time of the year here in Seattle. The Milk Carton Derby, the Marathon, the Triathlon, and of course, Seafair, where we are about to run Heat 3B, the top 4 boats with a realistic shot at the final. But they will need to score well here in Heat 3B. Meanwhile, Jim Hendrick caught up with the winner of 3A.
You know, I was really worried about Dave. He's got a fast race boat, and, you know, they've done a great job all year to get the, you know, the Todd Haas guys up front here and doing well to put a heat win together was great.
And the field formed now at the north end. It's our last preliminary of the day. After this, it's the winner-take-all final. You see the field moving through the north turn. They'll make the run now down to start finish, and we will go racing just about 10 seconds from right now. That's rookie Chris Bertram way on the outside in the U9. Next to him, Jimmy King with piston power. Over on the inside, Mike Allen has lane 1, but Dave Villwock has a lead on him as they cross the start line. And actually, Jeff Bernard in the other FormulaBoats.com entry out in lane 3 made a better start than his teammate. Jimmy King once again is running well on the outside. Now look at these 4 come through this turn. Villwock a little bit of a lead, but he has the FormulaBoats.coms on each side of him, and then Jimmy King out in lane 4 as they race up the backstretch. Villwock needs a strong finish here to make sure he's in the final. Oh, problems for Terry Troxel. The Lake Ridge Paving apparently got into a rooster tail, or the fire has gone out aboard that boat. 3/4 of a lap now for Dave Villwock. He has the Elam Plus out ahead as we're on board the FormulaBoats.com. Mike Allen can see the leader off to his right.
They need these points in this final elimination heat to make the winner take all finale. And I don't care how many points you get in preliminary heat action. Once you made the final, the first one to take the checkered flag after 5 laps is the race winner.
Dave Villwock, formerly known as the King of the Inside, has done some racing this season out in lanes 2, 3, and 4. That's what he's doing right now, and it's working for him. You got a brief look there at Terry Troxel, who has the Lake Ridge paving up and running again. Back on board with Mike Allen, continuing to give chase. He has Villwock off to his right. That means Allen has the inside so far. It hasn't been enough, though, to allow him to catch this bright orange defending national champion, Miss Elam Plus. Dave Villwock has the lead, but Jim, right now the lead is not a very big one.
No, it's not. The checkered flag is going to be waiting for the winners, and look at them. That is rough waters. They just literally fly those boats like airplanes over the water.
Into the south turn now, turn 1 for the final time, and you see the overlap that Villwock has. He might be legally able now to move over on Mike Allen, who is running right on the buoy line, as you can see, as we go on board with Mike. Now, up the backstretch one more time. It's been a great 2-boat race, and Villwock has had just enough boat speed to stay ahead of Allen, but this is not decided yet. Look at the race into the north turn now. 1 turn to go, a quarter of a lap, and Jim, this could be a close one.
It's going to be a close one. The way it's looking is they're down by the floating bridge turn, the northern turn. The checkered flag is waiting. Villwock brings it out wide about the middle of the course. The checkered flag is waiting. He needs these 400 points.
Look at him fly that orange boat. He needed 400. He went and got him. That will put Dave Villwock in the final heat. Mike Allen was already there, as was Jimmy King. A very happy crew now, waiting for Dave Villwock to bring the defending national champion U1 back to the pit area. Mike Allen, second place, puts him in the final heat. Jimmy King is there with piston power. It's going to be a barn burner, Jim.
Yes, and this is the official order of finish in Heat 3B, with the Elam Plus picking up 400 points for victory.
After a shaky start to his day of racing, Dave Villwock found himself needing points. His last couple times out to make the final, he has done that. We are working our way toward the final heat of the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair. Stay with us. Welcome back to the sunny shores of Lake Washington. It's the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair from Seattle. A huge crowd on hand here, many of them afloat. One of the largest spectator fleets ever assembled for any sporting event anywhere in the world. Dave Villwock will be in the final heat. He's with Jim Hendrick.
Okay, that looked pretty smooth and pretty easy.
Well, I don't know if it's easy for you. It's still rough out there, and the boat ran good. The Formula boat ran great, and it pushed us all the way. But it's a good win for us. We needed it to get into the final. It was after the first heat, it was a tough road. So hopefully we're in.
Seattle, Washington, Lake Washington, always the hotbed for unlimited hydroplane racing. It's a big event here every single year. Some of the boats are now getting ready for the final. Let's take a look back with Steve Montgomery to see how these boats used to look.
Unlimited hydroplane racing has a long, rich history here in the Seattle area, starting in 1950, when a revolutionary race boat called Slow Motion 4, owned by a Seattle auto dealer, went to Detroit and won the Gold Cup. There has been a major event here on Lake Washington, like the one we're seeing this weekend, every summer since then, over 50 years. The sport evolved in Seattle because of the Boeing Company, airplane technology and craftsmanship. By 1968, the boats still looked like this version of Miss Budweiser. The driver was in an open cockpit, lots of padding, no seat belts, no canopy, still sitting behind the World War II vintage piston engine. The front of the boat still had a round nose hiding the sponson. The driver had no idea how much lift he was creating or was about to create at any given time. The next step in the evolution of the hydro is demonstrated by the 1982 Atlas van lines. The front end is a pickle fork, a little more control over how much lift the boat would be creating. The driver now had moved in front of the engine but was still in an open cockpit. Later in the 80s saw the advent of the turbine engine, a change in power plants, and more importantly, a change in the cockpit. The driver now was under an F-16 canopy, again, a reference to the airplane industry, and had a 5-point harness. From 1950 to 1982, 14 drivers lost their lives racing unlimited hydroplanes. Since then, only one. Credit the Boeing Company and Airplane Technology for advances in unlimited hydroplane racing.
The final field is getting set for the winner-take-all finale here on Lake Washington. We'll be back with all that action in just a moment.
The American Boat Racing Association's EnviroPly Championship Series for unlimited hydroplanes is brought to you by EnviroPly multi-panel interior and exterior building supplies, naturally superior. And by Oh Boy Oberto Beef Jerky. Taste what's real. It better be Oberto. The Chevrolet Cup at Seafair brings the fastest race boats in the world to Lake Washington. It's a tradition going back decades. Families have grown up in this sport here in the Seattle area, and every year, hundreds of thousands of them flock to Seafair. The fans come in all shapes and sizes. Jim Hendrick talked to some.
How long have you been a Hydro fan?
About 12 years now.
Okay, and what about the little guy that's on your shoulder?
About 4 years.
Uh-huh. So you're teaching him right.
I'm trying to.
All Hydro fans?
Yeah, we are.
How long?
Time we lived in Seattle, about 20 years.
And you're enjoying yourself?
Yes, we are.
And who's this little person?
This is Jordan.
Hello, Jordan. Oh, Jordan's a little bashful.
We try to go to all the races we can, my husband and I, and we have nothing but a very, very good time.
What does boat racing mean to you in Seattle?
You know, it's just the tradition coming out every year, getting everyone in the whole area together, enjoy the sun, enjoy the water. It's great.
It is down now to the winner-take-all final heat. The field is on the water. They are already jockeying for position. Some of the racing has taken place already. The favorite might still be Dave Villwock in the U1, Miss Elam Plus. He'll get a run certainly from the U37, Beacon Plumbing. The defending champion here, Jean Theoret. Mike Allen in the FormulaBoats.com expected to contend as well. Jimmy King with Piston Power would be a tremendous fan favorite if he could bring it home here. Now the field forms with a quarter of a lap to go. They'll make the rundown to start finish, and our final heat will be underway. And speaking of popular winners, if Steve David could bring the Oh Boy Oberto home, Jim, this crowd would go crazy.
And it's going to be 5 full laps, no more 3 sprints. It's going to be a real race as they hit that starting line. Look at that power as they dive for the first turn for the first time.
You're looking at J.W. Myers. He made a great start, but Jean Theoret has the U37 out ahead. Villwock in lane 1 doesn't have much room in there. He's getting squeezed a little bit. We'll see how this works for him. Look at Theoret. The yellow boat has taken off like a rocket, and our early leader has made a statement, Jim. Jean Theoret puts the U37 Beacon Plumbing out ahead in the final. Everybody now trying to run down the French-Canadian.
And the Shoemakers are jumping up and down in the dock. They want this hometown victory very bad.
We'll go to a wider shot now. We'll see where Villwock is. We know he's running to the left of Theoret, who's leaving. Oh, Villwock is way back. He's lost some ground, and he is not in a position to challenge Theoret. There you see the orange boat way in the back. He's nowhere near. It's all Jean Theoret at the end of lap 1. Remember, we're going 5 laps. This is a long race. So far, it is the least competitive we've seen all day. Theoret with a big lead over J.W. Myers in the U10, who's running second. Steve David is running third. A great start for the veteran. Out of Lighthouse Point, Florida, he has the leaders off to his left, and a very, very popular team in position to make a great finish here, Jim.
That's right, Steve, but there's one boat that is very popular that will not make a great finish. The Acura of Seattle, the U3 with Jimmy King, is out of the race. His cockpit is open.
That team has had heartbreak after heartbreak here in Seattle over the season. But look at Jean Theoret now, a big lead over the second and third place boats. We have a great race back there. That's J.W. Myers on the inside in the yellow boat. Steve David giving chase in the Oh Boy Oberto. And that's the competition on the water, because right now on lap 3, it's all Beacon Plumbing, all Jean Theoret, way out ahead of the field.
Rough water or not, the speeds are up close to 200 miles an hour in the straightaway.
Look at the ride Steve David's getting. This is no spring chicken. Steve is just over 50, very proud of the fact, and still able to run with the kids out here. Speaking of kids, he has one off to his left. Young J.W. Myers has been one of the hot shoes in this sport for 4 seasons now, and he appears to be on his way to a second-place finish, but so far, it's not decided. Steve David continuing to give chase in the Oh Boy Oberto, and they are both well back from this guy, Jean Theoret, our Gold Cup champion in the U37 Miss Beacon Plumbing. This would be an incredible win for him. The Gold Cup champion, it's his second year in the sport. Obviously, Jim, one of the top dogs now, and the surprise here is no Dave Villwock and Miss Elam Plus anywhere in the picture.
We're looking at the battle for J.W. Myers and Steve David for second place. Meanwhile, one of the heavy favorites coming into this event is now currently a distant 4th place.
Dave Villwock, his cowling is loose. That guy's just having a tough final heat here. He may be on his way to losing the cowling on that boat. There is incredible aerodynamic pressure on it when you get up around 200 miles per hour. We'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, we're on board with our leader, Jean Theoret, the U37 Beacon Plumbing. This boat and driver love it rough. The rough Detroit River, Jim, they lost part of the boat. They still won the Gold Cup. No problem here.
What else could they do to please the Shoemakers, win the most coveted cup, the Gold Cup, and come back and win in Shoemaker's hometown?
Billy Shoemaker bought this team from Bill Worcester, the very popular owner who retired after several seasons in racing. Raced with great names like the Tide. For a long time, it was the Lumar window film. Now, it's the Beacon Plumbing, owned by hydro legend himself, Billy Shoemaker. We're on board with Steve David and the Oh Boy Oberto. He's in that race for second place. And this guy is racing nobody but himself, Jean Theoret, out of Montreal in the U37 Beacon Plumbing, cruising to victory unless something goes wrong aboard Miss Beacon Plumbing.
As he comes out of the final turn, he can hear the gremlins, but he's got to put them out of his mind. He's looking for that checkered flag as he comes down to finish this race on Lake Washington in Seattle.
The checkered flag flies for Jean Theoret. The 2005 Rookie of the Year is showing him his transom here in 2006. The crew loves it. The owners, Billy and Jane Shoemaker, know how to throw a party, and Jim, this will be a dandy. They have won their hometown race here at Seafair.
And look at Steve David in the Oh Boy Oberto. He's going to take second.
Going by J.W. Myers in the yellow boat, who has other problems. He's been penalized and set back a lap. That'll move this guy, Dave Villwock, up into 3rd place. There is your winner, Jean Theoret, the U37 Miss Beacon Plumbing, driving for Billy Shoemaker, who's with Jim Hendrick.
All right, you've done it 2 times now this year. Are you having any fun?
Having a lot of fun, Jim. Every time I see it in first place, I have a lot of fun.
Well, it's more nervous on the shore, isn't it, than driving?
Oh, yeah, my knees get weak. You know, when you're driving the boat, you're sitting down, so you don't notice that.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Jim.
So we have crowned the winner of the 2006 ABRA Chevrolet Cup at Seafair. Jean Theoret is with Jim Hendrick.
John, what a congratulations for you. You are now 2 in a row for here.
Yes, absolutely. Thank God for this win, and this team, Beacon Plumbing team has given me an outstanding machine. I got a good start, got a head start on Dave, and that was it.
Listen to your crew. Let's pick them up. Pick the crew up. John, go ahead, guys. It's fine. You can salute you salute them, they salute you.
Yes, I salute the team.
You got the start you wanted.
Absolutely. I was right on time, and I know I had to get a good start to beat Dave, because Dave had the inside lane, and I knew I had to get that, and we got it.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Jean Theoret wins the event. Steve David and the Oh Boy Oberto hanging on to their national high point lead, but just barely with 1 race left, the season ender in San Diego.
It's been an exciting, tight race in beautiful Seattle, Washington, here on Lake Washington, the only mishap to fire to the U-21. We invite you to log on to ABRAHydroplanes.com for all the action. And next week, the Pro Boat Model World Championship from San Diego will be seen Monday, November 13th, 3 o'clock local time. On behalf of Steve Montgomery, I'm Jim Hendrick. Until next week, so long.